David Solomon, so Goldman Sachs. When we were during COVID, I would sit down with a lot of investment bankers. Call them. I would have meetings with them. Right, New York, we'd go have 6, 7, 8 meetings with them, and I would say, so tell me what your COVID protocols are right now with your company. And I would say, well, we can only do Zoom, or we can only do this, and we can only do that, and we can't go to the office, and we can't travel. And then behind closed doors, they would say, let me tell you, the Goldman jets are off. They're traveling. They're going and meeting with people. They're sitting down. They're meeting with the entrepreneur. They're raising the money for them. They're doing all that stuff. The reputation of David is they capitalized during COVID. I'm sure you have an opinion about David Solomon, who he is and what he's done. What do you think about David Solomon's leadership?
Outstanding. The company's doing extremely well. He's a very engaged guy. It's a terrific firm. I have nothing but good things to say about Goldman.
I sat down with a guy that runs a $10 billion company, and we had dinner last week or 2 weeks ago at Casa D'Angelo. And he said, I just had dinner with Solomon, David Solomon. He said 2 months prior to that, he said he flew out on his jet, not with a team of 5, 8 people. He flew out by himself because they were trying to do a round of 900 million, whatever the number was. He says he flew out by himself, and we sat down, we talked, and then he left. He had a 2-hour meeting with me. That's it. He just left. I'm like, he came himself? Yeah, he didn't send anybody else? No. He came himself, yes. You got to respect a leader like that. That's doing.
Remember what Jamie Dimon said recently. He said no more Zoom because he'd lost business.
Of course. This is one time where Solomon kind of took everyone's lunch.
Yep.
And you got to respect that. I'm sure you have an opinion also for Jamie.
I think Jamie's almost in a class by himself. I mean, he's a terrific guy. I have a very high regard for them. I know him well. And I think Goldman is a very accomplished firm, very motivated, wants to do the business. I had my own experience. I was one of the few times I was ahead of Goldman in terms of thinking. I ran Goldman Research for many, many years, and I kept on telling Goldman, you're making a mistake by not being in the asset management business. And for 10 years, they told me, Lee, you don't get it. We believe money managers should do money management. Brokerage firms should do brokerage. Don't compete with your customer, because Goldman's traditional customers are professional money managers. Mm-hmm. And I said, open up your eyes and look around. The world has changed. Merrill Lynch Asset Management, Webster, which is a division of Key Peabody, CSFB, everybody was in the business. And they didn't want to do it. And then one day, Salomon Brothers, who was their arch trading rival in the 70s and 60s, announced that Bob Solomon Jr. was leaving the research department to start Salomon Brothers Asset Management. And Steve Friedman and Bob Rubin called me up. They were then co-heads of the firm, said, you were right, we were wrong, we made a mistake, we should have gone into asset management. Are you willing to leave research and start an asset management division for us? And I laughed, I said, sure. It was a mistake on my part, because Goldman, being the great firm it is, understood that assets under management times fee equal revenue. Mm. And I was interested in the performance of the assets, not raising assets. And after about a year of doing it, I decided I wanted to retire and become a full-time money manager. But Goldman, when they go into a business, they're not the first, but when they go into a business, they try to capture 100% market share. They're very motivated.
GSAM is a monster.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. And I started. It's $1 trillion business now.
Yeah.
Is it? Sat down with a small private equity firm out of New York. They came into my house last week. Nice people, good guys, and their team. 5 people there. Goldman Sachs, former Goldman Sachs, 28 years. Former Goldman Sachs, 26 years. Former Goldman Sachs, 25 years. Former Goldman Sachs, 26 years. I see it a lot after 25 years. Is there like something that happens at 25 years at Goldman that people leave after 25 years? Because it's a great firm, but I see a lot at 25, 26.
It's different now than it used to be, because people would spend their whole careers there and then either only leave to go into government or academia.
Sure.
I don't know exactly what's changed, but I would say that, when you get up in the morning, you have one suit, and you look in the closet, you don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about what you're going to wear. Okay, Goldman, partners at age 50 are worth a lot of money, and you have more than one suit in the closet, and it's a very demanding business, very hard work. I had a voracious appetite for work, so I didn't leave over that. I just wanted to do something different. I did not want to run another business. Now, in research, self-praise stinks, but we had a very good team of sales, research, and trading coordinating together. But when I took over Goldman Research, we were largely unranked in these various surveys that check your temperature.
Institutional investor.
II
Yeah.
Magazine, Greenwich Research, which was founded by Charlie Ellis, Financial World, which isn't in business anymore. When I took over the research department, we were unranked in those polls. When I left the research department, we were number one in every one of those surveys. And there was a category called portfolio strategy, which I competed in as a soloist. And for 9 straight years, I was voted number one strategist. So I was ready for a new mountain to climb, and that's when I went into asset management. But like I said, I wanted to be a money manager and not an asset gatherer.
So I selfishly have to ask, how did the Federal Reserve's policies as they evolved change how you looked at managing money?
Well, I would say the business has changed, not so much because of the Federal Reserve, as business has changed because the machines now run the world. And I am highly critical of the SEC. I wrote Jay Clayton a letter, which he never responded to. He's now in private practice. Ironically, he's chairman of the board of Apollo, which I have a large position in. When I wrote him a letter when he was head of the SEC, he never responded. I pointed out to him when I came to Goldman Sachs 50-odd years ago, Goldman, Morgan Stanley, Salomon traded stocks for 25, 50 cents a share, and the Volcker rule didn't exist. So the brokers had the capacity and the willingness to position and create liquidity. They can't anymore, legally because of Volcker, and economically because of the commission structure. There's no reward. Secondly, 50 years ago, the specialist system handled, on the New York Stock Exchange, handled 80% of the volume.
Yep.
Today, 80% of the volume is off-board and dark pools. And finally, and what I'm particularly critical, in I think 2007, they eliminated the uptick rule, which was enacted in 1938 in response to the abuses of 29. And this gave rise to all the machines to trade the way they trade, and these machines know nothing about value, they know everything about price. And so the market goes up too much when it goes up, and goes down too much when it goes down, and it's a destabilizing force. But they don't seem to be focused on that. They seem to be focused more on the trading costs. I don't know, I just operate in the world that I'm in. I'm happy I'm not in the money management game professionally, where I'm being paid a fee. I can take a long-term horizon and run the money for tax efficiency.
If you enjoyed this short clip, click over here to watch another short clip. And if you want to watch the entire episode, the entire podcast, click here.